Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 130 of MDC. It's your boy CT. We got Irvin and Green Rat in the building.
What's up, baby?
Tonight's episode, OTAs are kicking, and so is Jevon, Holland. Man, we got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of press conferences today. Talk still going on. And, of course, Mike McDaniel, his presser, a lot of shit to talk about. What is going on, boys? How you guys doing tonight?
Chilling. How about you fellas today? How you guys doing?
Good. Had a long fucking day at work, though. 12 hours.
Damn.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, money, though. That's all that matters.
Yep.
Get
so
that
I don't
money,
have to go I don't have to work on my own car.
Go fuck yourself.
Oh, damn.
Hey, the thing is, I figured,
it.
God damn it, it's a lift gate button. How fucking difficult can it be? Well, it was a pain in the ass, but the thing is by the time you spend all that fucking money, it's $13 fucking dollars, which isn't a huge ordeal, but you replace the shit, and then it's not the right one because, you have to have the part B that's for the keyless entry instead of the one that's not keyless entry. And I was like, you got to be fucking shitting me. And then the fucking first team Nissan where I got the part is closed at 5 o'clock. So I got to fucking wait till tomorrow to get it. So fucking my life.
That sucks. Yeah, that sucks.
But anyway, let's get on to Dolphins. What is going on, man? There's a lot of shit going on. What surprised you guys the most today?
I don't know. I heard something about Holland. Did you hear what he said? Or
yeah, absolutely.
Give us a little info on that.
So, yeah, I'll talk about that a little bit.
CT, before you cook, I also noticed, not everybody that's in a contract dispute, doesn't have to attend OTAs. It's voluntary. Guys have their own workout regimen. They got their own, some of these guys, like Tua, are working out with their private quarterbacks coach, John Beck, perfecting his craft and shit, working on his craft. So, Jalen Ramsey's not in contract dispute, and he's working on, he has his own workout regime, you know what I mean? So, man, that's just the stupid ignorance out there that we have to fucking, kind of like fucking deal with in this fan base and kind of like, shoot down. That's all I got to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're good. I agree. I mean, people are going to talk about it. Like you said, it's ignorance. It is what it is. The deal will get done and move the fuck on.
Yeah,
but as far as Jevon Holland, man, we all know how things went down with him and Vic Fangio, and Vic Fangio taking his parting shot through, who was it? Ron Jaworski, saying that players on the Dolphins defense were too busy partying, and he was trying to push them to be better players, and that they weren't interested, that they took it as a 9-to-5 job, and which is kind of ironic to me because it's the same thing that was supposedly being said by Fangio about Cam Smith, but obviously he was speaking about multiple individuals on the defense. And so Holland had an interview today and decided to, kick rocks again. And by doing that, he was asked about, Anthony Weaver and how things are going, with the change in the defense. And he said he enjoys it, that he enjoys having a coach that actually listens to players' input, their ability to, design a scheme with them, to teach the scheme. Amicus in the building, teach him the scheme and all of that. And then there was a short follow-up question about what was the difference between Anthony Weaver and Vic Fangio. And long story short, essentially, quote unquote, that Anthony Weaver is actually a good person. So
yeah, something like that. And it says like the defense, right? He said like the defense was like a total 180. compared to Fangio's defense, and
Yes. Yes.
Weaver was like a teacher. He was more like a teacher, like more in hand on hands type of approach than Fangio was.
Yeah,
You know what I
absolutely. And
mean?
like I said, I mean, I was paraphrasing. It was like an 8-minute interview. I wasn't going to talk the whole damn
Yeah.
thing, but
Nah,
yeah, I
you
mean,
got the gist of
essentially,
it
he
though.
said that Vic Fangio is a
Yeah.
shitty person, essentially.
Oh
So
shit. Yeah. I think Jalen Ramsey could but Jalen Ramsey was more of like I don't want to say he would I think he still respects him as a coach. I just think he didn't like him in terms of like he just got mad that that Fangio didn't utilize them fully in terms of their versatility, you know, and shit, things of that nature, and didn't use them to their like the maximum of their ability.
that
So
and the
that's
fact
what he
that
got mad at.
they tried to give input, and Vic Fangio's
Yeah,
like, "Fuck you! I do it my way. You do it my way. You don't ask questions. You just do what you're supposed to. Do what I tell you to do." And I mean,
and
I don't
didn't
know,
adjust
but I
too.
really do think that like we were talking to Irvin on the phone. We know that Brian Flores is a shitty person, a la too, and saying you can't talk to people
Yeah,
like that. But we didn't
yeah,
really hear any of those things about Vic Fangio. But we also
no,
don't know what was said behind closed doors for him to have those feelings about Vic Fangio. But
yeah.
obviously, he has some
Mhm.
pretty strong feelings.
No, and I think with Flores, like he actually like spoke out and tried to he filed lawsuits against the NFL and against the Miami Dolphins and accused them of a bunch of things and accused Ross of of bribery and meeting tampering and all this other shit. So he kind of through his character, through his claims, he kind of revealed what type of shitty person he was, and then two, of course, with his comments and about you can't talk to people like talk to people that way, and basically how with that you remember when that report came out about basically what it was pretty much the last thing that he said to Stephen Ross before he left, like pretty much like he caught him saying that this guy doesn't know shit about football, like he should stay away from like the ins and outs of the football team, the decision making and shit, like he said something to that effect, but
Yeah, well, no. So essentially, Greer
something like
had
that.
asked to meet with him, and Ross happened to be in the office because when Ross was out of town or whatever, Greer would be up there, and they would kind of hold meetings in that office because it was bigger, and Ross happened to be there, and Flores was like, "What in the fuck is he doing here? He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know football." And like I said, I'm not here to get on Greer. Or on Flores. Back it up, bench says, have any other players in Fangio's career complained about him as far as non-Dolphins players? And I don't know. I haven't really followed Fangio or, really, heard interviews from players that played under him per se. So I'm not sure. If you know that information, let us know. Back it up. But
And
irregardless, I think that obviously,
also,
Jevon Holland wanted to
yeah,
get his parting shot in.
well, you remember the tweet that
Yeah, the kick rocks. Yeah,
basically the
yeah.
kick rocks. Yeah, comments. So he basically that's what he felt or what he thought about fucking Fangio. You know what I mean? Cam Smith with the unlock, but that's more. I can understand where Cam Smith is coming from because maybe whatever the arguments are, or, whether it's for Fangio or against Fangio. He didn't get that much opportunity to get snaps in. Get reps and shit like that in the season, and it kind of affected his progression his development as a player. So yeah, I totally understand where he's coming from.
I
But
personally
Javon
took
was
the
like,
kick
there's
rocks.
something more than that.
I took the kick rocks a little different. I took it as you're leaving. We'll go kick rocks. That's
Hey,
how I
what's up, CT
interpreted
I
what he
mean, he
Greenberg?
said.
basically said it. He
What's
basically
up,
said how he
Spidey?
felt yesterday.
What's going
What's up,
on,
Amicus? What's good, my
Amicus? How
brother?
you doing, brother?
Doing great, man. How y'all doing?
Oh,
Hanging in
chilling,
there.
bro.
But yeah, to finish
Taking
up on
shit.
Holland real quick, the other part, the only really interesting part of his interview, he did talk a little bit. He was asked about his contract. They spoke. They asked him about, how he feels, and he made the joke that we've been making for the last couple weeks. And he said, "Well, if they ain't gonna pay Tua, they sure as hell ain't gonna pay me."
I mean,
Nah,
is
see,
he being?
that's not how I took it. What I took it as, they're working on Tua's contract, and he doesn't matter because that's the big one that the agents are going after, and they're not going to really do anything with his until Tua's is done. That's how I interpreted what they said.
I didn't even watch it, obviously, but I agree with Green Rat.
Yeah, no, and I agree too.
Attaboy,
I was
Amicus.
just the way it was written, at least in the transcript, and the laughter it kind of made it sound like he was joking, and I don't have time to sit there and listen to every damn interview.
Yeah, he was laughing a little bit, and a little bit of what you said, I think, was part of it. But it was more like, they'll pay me or not pay me, or it doesn't matter. I'm gonna, work on my craft, and two is the big important one right now.
Yeah, I agree.
It's the Tua thing. After it, then they'll focus on him and Waddle and stuff to get that done. But it sounds like he expects Tua's to get done before they even.
I was real quick. I was thinking about this contract thing, and it dawned on me that these motherfucking quarterbacks don't grow on trees, right? And no matter what my thoughts of Tua may be in comparison to a Mahomes or an Allen or very few quarterbacks, he is an NFL capable quarterback. Clearly, they win games with him. He can throw the ball to the spots that he needs to, and his receivers catch it. That all accounts for something. And I think we're at a place where you can't be too picky, because what's the alternative? You have a team that can compete right now, right? So you're not going to be able to get a draft pick to go after who? The quarterback draft just passed a month ago. You know what I mean? So you really don't have a choice but to pay the motherfucker.
Well,
I kind of agree with you, Amicus, because especially that he's tied to what helping us clear up cap space this year. I'm tired of repeating this, and he also gives us financial flexibility. Go ahead, CT. Kind of. So you're just kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say I agree with you. I think that, again, and we've had this discussion, I think he's a great quarterback. I think he's actually better than being above average. No, is he in the elite category? No, but again, very few are, and at that point you take what you got. Now, as far as back it up, Ben said, I said it before, if Smith would have helped the team win, then McDaniel would have made Fangio play him. He is the CEO. And so I don't really know if that's particularly the case. I really think that as we've discussed before, I think Mike McDaniel brought in Fangio in the sense that, hey, you handle the defensive side of the ball, I handle the offensive side of the ball. That way he has the ability to focus more on being offensively minded, but also some of the other head coaching duties that he hasn't done well at in the past. So I don't know. I think
I
that,
would
again,
be under the assumption that was discussed before Fangio signed the contract. Leave me alone. I'll run the defense. That's
That's what I perceived it as too. That's how I saw it.
Yeah, but so back to the contract thing with Holland, and and he made the joke, or that whole situation, but then when they followed up on it, he gave the vet regulatory answer of, I'm just going to work on it. I'm going to let my agent handle it. I'm not going to worry about it. If they pay me, they pay me. If they don't, they don't. Just the same old generic veteran answer when it comes to contracts. So,
and hey, back to the Fangio thing really quick. Another thing is McDaniel's like the new breed, right? Fangio's old school. So those are like two totally different personality types, and that can get confusing in the locker room, I think. McDaniels is clearly, you correct me if I'm wrong, but he's a player's coach. Fangio probably isn't.
Well, and the thing though, and I agree with you, and we've discussed this, is I don't necessarily think that it's the being a player's coach or not being a player's coach, because we've also heard from multiple players that Mike McDaniel, if you're not doing your job or you're not doing something, he jumps your ass. He's not afraid to be a hard ass, but
yeah, but that doesn't mean he's not a player's coach. I mean, all head coaches have to be a head coach, right? But some are just more distant from the players, and they're, you know what I mean?
Like the guy rubs everyone in the wrong way.
That's kind of why what I was trying to get at is, but Mike McDaniel likes to, develop relationships with his players and all of that. Whereas, a Vic Fangio, Bill Belichick, those kind of guys that they're not trying to be buddy with you. They're here to do their job, and they don't really give a shit about anything else. You know what I mean?
Or McDermott. I think our coach McDermott would fall under that Belichick type category. I know he tries, but he's just like a hard-nosed cat, and some people are built that way, and it's hard to make them, the guy that you want to go have a beer with. McDermott is not the guy you want to go have a beer with. McDaniel is.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously not, because he doesn't drink. So, but yeah, I get the sentiment. I get the sentiment.
Hey, Green Rat, I don't drink, and you know this.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're all screwed then, because I don't either.
Oh, man. But anyway.
That we're cheap, You say, yeah, come over and we'll drink some beer. Fuck, it ain't going to cost anybody anything.
I'm the best friend to have, bro. I can drive your drunk ass back to your house,
Right? I do the same shit up here.
Oh, man, y'all are funny. But, so, yeah, I know that I did read up on Holland's presser. I read up a little bit on McDaniel's. Green Rat, did you check out McDaniel's presser?
Not today. I think I watched the one yesterday.
Okay, and that's kind of, I think, the one that I was reading an article about was yesterday's. So, is there anything interesting that you heard out of yesterday's presser with Mike McDaniel?
No, pretty much Tua was had an excused absence. That's kind of the gist of it, and I think all the veterans and stuff, they got scheduled days that they're not going to come to OTAs and stuff.
Is it though, Green Rat? Is it really an excused absence?
Well, the thing is in reality, technically, no, there is no excused absence because it's voluntary. They don't have to be there.
Right.
So it's not like he had an excused absence from school. Like, he wasn't required to be there.
Yeah, but you know all the all the chatter is out there too, right? The chatter's out there, so why would you not show up?
Hold on. All right, there's three people talking. All right, go ahead.
My bad. Go ahead, Amicus. Sorry.
I was just going to say that clearly he knows that the chatter is out there based on how OTA started. So, if you don't show up this day, people are going to talk. You don't think there's something to that?
Go ahead, Spidey.
No, I was just saying I don't really see the big deal in all this. Him fucking missing camp is voluntary. Like I said, he was professional enough to let the team know in advance that he was going to a fucking non-charity golfing event for Nick Saban to raise money for I forgot what it was, but But yeah, man, like to golf, and it's cool. You know, he's there to support his former head coach. Like I thought it was class. You know how Tua is, bro. That's the type of person he is, and you know, and maybe the other day, today was probably just working out with John Beck. You know, in California or something. I mean, you know, he travels across the country. You know, just working with
I
John
thought
Beck in
I thought
California.
they showed a clip, Spidey, of Tua at
Where?
the facility today.
No, but I'm just mean in general. I mean, I know he's been missing the voluntary workouts, and that's what he's been doing, dude. Working out with Nick Hicks, you know, doing speed and agility drills. He's lost 10 to 15 pounds, by the way, so he looks good. And you know, he's you know working out, with, like I said, with John Beck, and doing all these different things, and then in between doing his charity stuff. So, but he's still there, bro. Like, I mean, he was there the first day of OTAs, so he showed up on the first days of voluntary workouts. So, like I said, I mean, he's there, he's present, he's participating in organized team activities and whatever workout programs that the team has, and you know, he's making an effort to uh, to try to create the best path forward to a contract, the most smooth road to a contract. So
Well,
I think everything
like I
Tua's doing
said, he was
everything
there the first day. He missed because of the Saban thing, and then he was there
yeah
today. So I mean,
today. Yeah. I got you. I
and then
thought I had
Tyreek wasn't
well
there the last 2 days.
I thought I had read this morning that he wasn't there, but I guess he
They
was there.
showed the guys. They had a little hockey goal in front of the door.
Yeah. I saw that today. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
just kind of confusing. Like I thought he wasn't here. I thought he was on the list, but whatever. He's there, so I don't like I said, bro. I don't make a big deal as long as
maybe he
if
just
he's
showed
missing
up and
mandatory
left.
minicamp. Yeah, probably. You never know. But as long
Tyreek
as like
was at his son's graduation or something. I can't remember what he said, but he was at a
yeah, Jalen
graduation
Ramsey.
today, so he missed
Oh, that's
today.
cool. But Jalen Ramsey, I don't know what he was up to. So, but again, like I said, if he's missing out mandatory minicamp, if he's holding out of that with the contract negotiations, then I think you should take it a little bit seriously. But again, I think this contract is going to get done by training camp. Like I'm
What
not
do you
even
think,
worried about that.
CT?
Say it again.
I said, what do you think?
Like I said, I don't mind it. I mean, look, as far as the charity golf thing, if Nick Saban asked him, "Hey, would you like to take part? Would you mind helping me out? It's a charity event." And he's like, "Yeah, he sets that, and what day is it? Oh, yeah, that's voluntary workouts. It's not no big deal, you
CT,
know."
hey, CT, real quick. Did you notice his golf bag? It says it's all in the hips. I
No
thought it
I
was
did
way.
funny.
not. I did
Yeah,
not see that. I did not
That's
see that.
classic.
yeah. Yeah, he was in
That
a
is.
golf cart. He had that golf bag, yeah, with his caddy.
He got that stitched up when Flores was still the coach.
Shit.
Does it
During
concern?
what was it? The Baltimore was it
You-
Baltimore
you-
week? I think it was the Baltimore week.
oh yeah, he showed pictures of himself golfing before the game
Yeah,
started,
when
just to show
they
everybody that he
said
was
that
healthy
he
to go.
wasn't going
Yeah.
to play. They said Flores said that he wasn't going to play, but he would be the emergency backup. But then ends up coming in at halftime and fucking coming back and winning the game.
Did you remember the Texans game? Like he was willing to go for that game, and Brian Flores said that yeah, he was activated, but he's not going to be like
Yeah, he was going to be
you
the
know,
emergency quarterback.
emergency quarterback, right?
Tua in the
But
Baltimore
anyway,
game didn't even have his crosses on his cheeks.
I know, and he still came in and balled the fuck out. But
Yep.
So I don't think
anyway,
he expected to play. So
It's
Hey, the
Frank
The
Lamar
Miami
Jackson.
Dolphins finally topped the list as the number one team in the NFL. You have the most. You have the most
here we
players.
go.
You have the most players on your team that have attended a P Diddy party. Congratulations.
Okay.
there you go.
What
Yo, for
one?
a team that doesn't have any championships, you guys talk a lot of shit. My God, you guys are like New York.
So
You're like the New York Knicks of the fucking NFL. You sound like
now I
Alex
do.
Renee Diaz from Twitter.
Hey! Keep it classy, boys. Keep it classy.
Yeah.
Move
But
us
we're
on,
gonna move
CT.
on.
Well,
We're gonna
Buffalo
move
never.
on. We're gonna move on because I want to talk about this.
Sorry, guys.
Eric Izukama was participating in team practices today. So apparently he has been cleared from his neck injury to continue his football
Oh
career.
yeah. Yep. He says he feels good. He feels healthy. He actually got the medical okay from his doctors before the end of last season. So he's good to go, bro. He's good to go. I can't wait to see him.
I thought he participated day 2, Tuesday.
I think I seen him. Yeah, I seen him there. Day two he was catching footballs and stuff.
Yeah, I think he
Yeah,
I
got
think he
this
made a
is
Sunday.
pass over the middle. He made a catch over the middle of the field. Yeah, nice
yeah. They
catch.
said that today was his second team practice.
Yeah,
So that would mean he participated
and
yesterday and then today.
yeah, and he
Um,
I
was
just don't
dancing,
know
having
how we're going to
fun.
hide all the players we want to keep at the receiver position.
and that's kind of what I was gonna get at is, with the addition of both of the Washingtons, OBJ, you still got, oh God, what's his name now? Braxton Berrios. The two or
Serious.
three, you got Braylon Sanders. You got the guys that we had on the practice squad last year. They got signed to futures contracts. So, I mean, there's a crap ton of receivers, and I just I don't know if
I
Izukama's
would
going to
cut
be on the roster.
Barrios. I would cut Barrios, but man, he is pretty sure-handed on punts. I mean,
I
special
can agree
teams
with
is
that.
very important too. He
I
just doesn't
absolutely
drop
agree.
them.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not Jakeem Grant.
No, but he catches the ball.
Hey, I heard
That's my point. He's not Jakeem
even
Grant
Malik
dropping punts
Washington
all over the place.
Malik Washington made a couple of eye popping plays. He made a nice cut. He ran a route over the middle of the field, made a nice catch in traffic. So Malik Washington is showing what he showed at Washington. Sorry, excuse me, Virginia. So
Mm.
it looked good, man. Number 83 looks, Mark Clinton threads,
I'm guessing Miami put out some video.
No, I was just watching for what I was like when I was going through my Twitter feed, my timeline.
So somebody got a hold of
Got bootleg
something
some
from somewhere.
video. So, did you hear anything, CT, on the about Chris Brooks and Jeff Wilson? And because I've heard about something about Jeff Wilson, I heard that he's almost guaranteed to be on the team, and then I heard someone else report that he's probably gone. What did you hear?
I
Did
heard
you hear
that.
anything?
I heard that Chris Brooks might be gone, and I heard with the same thing you said. Green Rams.
So it's both
The only
ways.
the only thing I heard was earlier this offseason, and I forgot who it was by. Maybe it was Alan and Omar on their show about hearing rumblings that Chris Brooks may, because of his years of his tenure, because he has less than 3 years accrued, he could be stashed on the practice squad again. That they may keep Jeff Wilson Jr. on the active roster and have Chris Brooks on the practice squad, given really they're the only two quote unquote power backs that we have. But I haven't heard any.
Can you
But
repeat
I
that?
haven't.
I'm sorry, bro. I
Yeah, no,
apologize.
you're
Just to
fine.
give me a runaround.
Yeah,
Like real quick.
yeah. I was just saying the only thing that I heard that earlier this offseason, I think it was Alan and Omar on their show, that because of the accruement of years for Chris Brooks being under 3, that they wouldn't have to use a veteran slot on the practice squad.
Okay.
Whereas if they cut Jeff Wilson, obviously, either he could possibly be picked up, but even if he wasn't and they tried to stash him on the practice squad, then they would use one of the select few that are available for veterans. So they would obviously keep Jeff Wilson Jr. on the active roster and try to put Chris Brooks on the practice squad. I haven't heard anything about whether or not they're going to cut who or whatever
I think that's what they're going to
recently.
do.
Yeah,
I think
someone
that's
came
what they're
flat
gonna do. I think Jeff
out
Wilson.
and said that the Dolphins were probably going to cut Jeff Wilson. But then I heard all the other stuff.
I think
he was
I think what
expecting
CC said is actually more realistic because I think Jeff Wilson, given his familiarity with Mike McDaniel, you know how Mike McDaniel keeps his guys around. He was very loyal to his guys.
I agree.
Going back from San Francisco, so I think Brooks is going to be stuffed on the practice squad again. It's depending on how many running backs they keep, but I think with Wright probably making the team, of course, I think he's a lock. Raheem and Achan. I think they're going to keep Wilson. I think they keep 4, and I think Wilson's going to make the team, and I think Brooks is going to be on the practice squad.
Well,
Yeah,
we
the
always
only
have
way that
somebody injured in
Yeah.
preseason, so there's an extra spot probably.
Yeah, and the thing is that's kind of, for me, though, the only way that I can see that happening is if Jeff Wilson gets injured. Then I could see them cutting him. Or, like you just said, Green Rat, I think you just said, I cut out a little bit, is if somebody gets cut and they're an obvious upgrade over Jeff Wilson Jr. That's kind of the only way I really see that.
What I said is
Brooks
usually in
making the
training
team, right?
camp, one of our running backs gets hurt, so they'll probably start on the pup
That's true.
list,
Good point.
and that'd get them all in there.
Yeah, because they're keeping 5, right? Including usually they keep 5 running backs, and it's usually to include Alec Ingold, right?
Well, yeah,
Right,
but
correct.
you got to remember we actually kept 6 last year, including Alec Ingold, because we had Savon Ahmed as well. Now, Ahmed obviously is going to be gone, and it's
Don't count on that.
I mean,
here we
well,
go.
are you going to keep Ahmed or are you going to keep Jeff Wilson?
Well, is Ahmed healthy? Yeah, he might go to the pup list.
I'm thinking like Green
McDaniel
Rat
loves his boys.
I think in his closet, I think he's got like all the jerseys of all the underdogs, like Noah and Eichenberg
and
Easy,
now
easy
now
Spider Jet.
Ahmed,
Now it's Savon
Ahmed, and Braxton Berrios. He's got a Berrios
like
jersey
Ahmed.
in there.
Of all the crap that I pull and say and stuff, the one player that I do like is Ahmed. I think he's a good runner. I think he just needs the carries to,
I think he's just an outside zone guy.
That dude
bro. I
got
don't
laid
think
out
he's
like
an
twice
inside
last year.
Inside zone guy.
It fucking was crazy.
Yeah.
My thing
he
is
can
with
do it.
Ahmed, but it's my bad. Go ahead, Spidey, and then I'll go after you.
No, I was just saying that like he's just like a one cut type runner. He's an outside zone guy. He's a good pass catcher at the backfield. I do like his ability to run routes and stuff, but and he's got good hands, but he's so small. I don't really think he's ideal running in between tackles and shit. So yeah.
Yeah, my thing is the only knock I really have on Ahmed,
and his health,
but it's a knock against fucking almost all of our running backs, apparently minus Jalen Wright, and Chris Brooks when he's healthy, is their ability to pass protect.
Oh yeah. Right.
And so I've seen Ahmed on numerous occasions whiff on blocks so badly that I'm just like, oh my God.
That's true. CT, oh my God.
But I do like Ahmed. I think, and that's kind of where I was getting at, though, is if you got a Jeff Wilson Jr. and an Ahmed, you obviously know we're keeping Jalen Wright. We have Raheem Mostert and Achan. Fuck, you're already at 5. And then, if you include
guaranteed, and then it gets a little iffy.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of where, I mean, you know for a fact Mostert, Jalen Wright, and Achane are going to be on this team. That's a given. Now, the other possible slot on the active roster, and then the other two practice squad possibilities.
I think Ahmed would make the practice squad. I think that's if they kept Ahmed, it'll be practice squad because he's probably not going to be picked up by anybody. So,
no, he's like
yeah, but the argument is to be had with that.
Practice squad or what?
Ahmed, because he's a veteran, is going to count against the limited veteran guys you can have on the practice squad.
I thought there was only a limited.
Sorry, my bad. You're good. Sorry, I'm having technical difficulty. My bad. Sorry.
Nah, you're good. Go ahead, Green Rat.
No, I just thought it was limited protected people, protected veterans.
No, it's the. Let me pull it back up because we did it before. I believe that it's. I believe you're allowed 5 out of the 16 spots that are players that have 3 or more accrued seasons. Hold on, let me Google
I thought
it
you
again.
could have as many as you want of everything. It's just how many you can protect from getting poached.
Yeah, no, they so another change over the last 3 years is the eligibility requirement for veteran players. Previously, teams could only have 4 veterans to have 2 years. Sorry, so it's 2 years, not 3. Now teams can only have 6 veterans with no limit on the amount of accrued seasons they have in the league. So you can only have 6. So you can have 6 out of the 16 are allowed to be veterans with 2 or more years. So the other,
how is the CP?
I said it's so it says right here. It used to be 4 veterans with 2 or more years accrued.
Right.
However, it changed to 6 with no limit on the number of years. So you got 6 guys who have 2 or more years. That's all you're allowed. The other 10 have to be rookies or those who have not accrued 2 full years.
And I guess I just don't understand that, but I mean, it is what it is.
Is this on the practice squad, CT?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with it either, but it is what it is. That's their rules. I mean,
right. I mean, there's nothing we're going to do about it.
Now, I do think that in that aspect that maybe it's because they're trying to get younger guys and especially the undrafteds and the rookies to give them an opportunity to work and get experience, because if not, I mean, well, at that time we have, now we have UFL, whatever the fuck it is now, the combination of the XFL and the UFL or whatever, but there was no other beyond that in the Canadian Football League. There was no places for other guys to go to get actual experience. But I don't know. I mean, that's really the only logical thought process that I can think of why they would limit the number of veterans, unless they're trying to prevent, and this just popped in my head, maybe they're trying to prevent teams from just stacking up 16 veterans and then, like high quality veterans that they can, pay
but you can
whatever.
Poach them, though. That's the part I don't get. But if they're not protected, then anyone can grab them.
Yeah, I mean, I see that point too.
And veterans, to stay in shape would be nice to be able to go to the facility and work out all the time. to me, it just doesn't make sense. But that's what they say. That's what we got to deal with.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I think it's kind of ignorant, but I mean, it is what it is. It's you only have limited veteran slots, so you got to pick and choose carefully what veterans you want to keep. So I don't know. Like I said,
Yeah, I guess if we're going the youth movement and stuff, then slipping Ahmed in there wouldn't be a bad thing. I mean, I don't know. We'll see after the cuts are made at 53 and figure out who gets signed back real quick.
yeah, I mean, like you said, I think that's kind of more or less just to pop it up. I copied and pasted it so you could understand or at least see it. So, yeah, man, like I said, I think it's kind of dumb, but it is what it is. What's going on, Cap for Life in the building? What's going on, brother?
What's up?
Hey,
What's up, Cap?
why isn't you finish the sentence with dumb and I walk into this segment?
Cap, you still drinking that cortadito, bro? That cafecito? That
Bro, Irving, you see how everybody got uptight, bro? When I walked in there, bro, not when I walked in there.
I know.
It was, bro, you can hear a pin drop, bro.
I know.
The spaces were never like that before.
I know, dog.
What happened? You went on a Twitter space and you made everybody quiet.
Bro. Level 2 dude went after your ass today, Cap. Golly, I never seen level 2 dude go after anybody like that, bro. Damn.
He's gonna
Cap for Life was out there trolling, huh?
No, bro, my head is gonna be on the body
people.
of Borat, bro. He's gonna put me on that slingshot bathing suit from Borat.
What the hell happened, Cap? Because I saw Shake Money come up, but I had to leave for a while. I missed all the good stuff, I guess.
Nah, we were just busting balls. We were tripping out, catching up. I haven't been over there like almost 2-3 months, man.
It's funny because Cap, every time he comes into his Twitter spaces, he's always coming in hot. So he's coming in like full of energy and shit.
No, but hey, literally, literally, Irving, it's 107 in my car this morning, bro. I was literally hot too.
Oh, bro, I feel you, bro. Shit, fucking hot.
He was over there drinking that fucking Cuban espresso before he came on the panel.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
I went over and watched a little Pete's Takes tonight.
He had them cortaditos like, oh, hell no.
Hey, is he live? Is he live now?
He was earlier.
Yeah, yesterday he had a 6-hour episode.
Hey, check it. Hey, shout out to my homeboy Frankie Fresco, bro. You guys check out Frankie Fresco, bro. He's like a branch off the Big O show, bro. He's a good dude. Him and Sean, bro. They do wrestling too, but they also do Dolphin Talk. Check him out, bro. He's good people.
Really? Sean got his own. Oh, Sean that. But Sean has his own segment on the same channel, right? Cap.
Well, Sean has the Square Circle Digest. He has a Square Circle Digest that's on Stanley House. That's wrestling based, but he's open panel too. Not open panel, but open platform. And Frankie does everything too now. Yeah, but Big O looked out for them, and then they branched out after that.
That's crazy.
Oh,
yeah, I know because I remember Sean used to do his wrestling shows on Big O's platform, so now he's kind of doing his own thing now. But he's still co-host, right? Big O? I haven't seen that show in a while.
Yeah, the shout out to them. I was over there killing time, bro. I forgot about Pete, bro. If I would have known that, I would have went on Pete's earlier, yeah. But yeah, man, what you guys up to? Talk to me. What we got?
I was on Pete's yesterday. But
man, we've been talking about Jevon Holland saying Fangio's a shitty person. We talked about Eric Izukama getting cleared, him coming back. He had 2 days of practice, even though he's not going to make the team, is kind of what we were just stuck on, of talking about the number of wide receivers and running backs. Then we were talking about the practice squad and how, again, you're limited to 6 veterans with 2 years or more. So, we were talking about, we know for a fact that Jalen Wright, Mostert and A-Chain are going to be on the active roster. Then we were talking about, you got Jeff Wilson Jr., you have Ahmed, Chris Brooks, and Greenrat had brought up that apparently somebody was blatantly coming out and saying they were cutting Jeff Wilson and keeping Chris Brooks. And I said I disagreed with that because I heard a couple weeks ago or maybe a month or so ago. There you go, Emmett coming back in. You guys didn't run him off. But then
what's up,
Jeff
man?
Wilson, Jeff Wilson Jr. was going to stay, that we would keep him on the roster, number one, because he's a veteran, but number two, that it wouldn't hurt and it wouldn't be held against the 6 veteran maximum on the practice squad because Chris Brooks has less than 2 accrued seasons. So you could stash Chris Brooks on the practice squad. And then we were like, well, you could also try to stash Ahmed on the practice squad, but that takes one of those 6 slots away. So it's just interesting because then you have we talked about the wide receiver room. You have Izukama coming back. He got cleared. But you got Barrios, both of the Washingtons. You got Craycraft. You got the Braylon Sanders. You got the other 2 guys that were on the practice squad last year. They got re-signed to futures contracts.
Freddie Swain.
Freddie Swain, I think, is one of them. And then I don't know the other guy. But, there's. Oh.
I remember they got him from Denver.
Hey, can you hear me now? My phone sounds good.
Free agent.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, you sound good. You never sounded bad.
Sound good or crappy good?
No,
crappy good, but you always sound crappy good.
Okay, I'll take it. Good. I'll take it. Hey, let me ask you this, bro. Hey, what do you think, CT, about? I know everybody's making a big stink about people not showing up and people showing up, but what do you guys think about Phillips and Chubb showing up and them leaving OTAs limping?
Oof.
Really?
I did not hear that.
I heard Chubb and I heard Cam Smith were on the bike yesterday, and now I heard after OTAs they were both not limping but gimping. Let me not say limping. I'm sorry because I heard the same thing earlier. They were not walking upright.
Well, I mean, we know that Bradley Chubb is still injured. It's not like, he's back to full health, obviously.
So now, but my thing is, why are they at OTAs but other certain players aren't?
Well, number one, especially when it comes to Bradley Chubb, you're going to be there getting treatment. You're going to be doing your individual work, off to the side and all of that. But
non-contact, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, but as far as Cam Smith, I don't know. I didn't know Cam Smith got injured at all. So that's an interesting situation. But as far as, again, guys coming and not being there.
Cam Smith and Chop were on bikes yesterday. I don't know if they were hurt, but they were for the majority of the field, they got taken off.
I heard Chop had a compression sleeve on his leg.
Today?
Yesterday.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, it could be there's the use of a compression sleeve can be for multiple things. So, I mean, that doesn't really narrow it down.
In the heat, maybe?
Maybe.
No, compression sleeve's not for cramping. I mean, it could be, again, tightness. It can be a preventative maintenance issue. It can be, it could be a plethora of things, but I don't think it's overly that serious. If they were overly concerned about it, they wouldn't have them on a bike, period. Like, if you were injured enough in that aspect, they're not going to have you on the bike, doing activity. You're going to be in the training room getting treatment. So,
But isn't like
what do you think?
isn't like biking for conditioning?
Well, yeah, you can use it for conditioning. You can use it for rehab. You can use it for all kinds of stuff. But like I said, if it was significant enough of an injury, they would have taken him into the locker room and him given him treatment, not just go ahead over here.
So when you're on the bike, does it help? Does it help your muscle? Like, does it help like your muscle build endurance? Whatever part you do your body.
To a degree, it depends on the strenuousness of the exercise. You know, if you're just, barely pedaling, it's more, it can encourage blood flow and keep your ligaments, quote unquote, warmed up and loose. But it's not really, again, like I said, if it was significant enough injury, they wouldn't have him sitting there on the bike pedaling. They'd take him into the locker room and give him treatment.
Right.
So that's just kind of my stance on that. And there's so many possibilities in that. But
so I'm confused here. Dougley Duron came on today and said there actually wasn't OTAs today.
I don't know. I'm confused. I haven't been paying attention to the OTAs.
I'm so confused with some of this shit anymore.
A little bit.
I know. You get articles and shit, but it's like, okay.
No, Green Rat, you might be right. Maybe I'm confusing yesterday with today, but all that stuff did happen, though.
But yeah, yesterday there was a whole list of players. I don't think Waddle Hill,
so maybe
Sealer,
that's my bad.
any of those guys were there.
Today. Maybe DDW, I'm talking out of term of today, but, DDW is correct. I'm not going to question him either. He knows his shit.
Well, here's the tweet from DDW. Look who's in the building and there are no OTAs until tomorrow. So that's what I saw like at 9 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, okay. I was listening to Perks and Feronis earlier today on the Sun Sentinel, and they were saying they saw them. So I don't know if that's separate. Maybe they're doing some on the side.
Tua was at the facility today, but Dougley made it sound like there isn't OTAs today. They were just there anyhow.
Maybe nobody showed up again. Silent protest.
Well, I think Mostert was there because they were shooting a hockey puck into a net on the way into the building. So,
well, there you go.
See, that don't make any sense, though. So, what?
Give me a second, CT, and I'll send the clip to you.
Yeah.
Hey, the Panthers won.
Say it again, Cat for Life.
Did the Florida Panthers win today against the Rangers?
Let's Google that. I'll figure it out. Not sure. It was supposed to be on an 8.
Let me stop.
It's up 2-0. Panthers are up 2-0. 2-0.
Okay.
It's 11 minutes to go in the third period.
Mine says 1-0.
I'm seeing here. Maybe they just scored. It says 2-0 here.
What's the time left? What's the time left on yours?
11 minutes. Well, it says 11 minutes and 15 seconds left in the third period.
Okay, well, mine says 1-0 with 9:32, so it must have gotten taken off.
Probably. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah. It says Panthers have goal chalked off as Rangers win challenge. So yeah, it's still 1-0.
Makes sense.
But it has 9:32 left in the third period, but we're up 1-0. So let's fucking go Panthers.
Let's go.
Let's go, Gatos. Vamos, Gatos.
Let's go. But
let's go, baby.
What do you think about that, Amicus? What's been going on in Bill's OTAs, Amicus?
The usual.
They taking away Josh Allen's first read?
Oh shit!
Well, he's out golfing. Come on, Amicus. Give us something.
Josh Allen didn't even show up, man. He didn't even show up. So.
Oh shit! So Josh Allen must be upset with his contract.
No, he of course he's there, and he's doing drills with the new guys, man. him and Keon are getting on the same page. They have a lot of good chemistry thus far already early on in the relationship, but there are some hiccups, which is typical, with a new quarterback and receiver combination. So, I mean, he's a rookie. There's going to be ebb and flows. He's bodying motherfuckers from what I hear in practice, so that 6'4" frame and why we drafted him, why all the draft experts had him in the top 5 wide receiver class. Well, I mean, not all of them, but he was up there, definitely top 10. It's showing out right now in OTAs, but there has been. He's not. Listen, his one flaw is route running, right? So that's what he's going to have to work on the most. And it's been reported that there's been. He breaks one way, Josh Allen throws the other way. So that's just typical chemistry that has to get figured out. Nothing to be alarmed about. But the good news is for us that he's bodying motherfuckers, man. That 6'4" frame is doing everything we thought it would do. And I don't know. He might be unstoppable, Allen's gonna listen. Another thing he said is that Allen doesn't throw a fastball, and I love that because everybody complains that Allen throws too hard. Keon's like, nah, man, he doesn't throw hard at all. It's an easy ball to catch. Yeah, things are going good. Come on, crickets. I know. What do you want to hear? You want me to hear
what
that?
Do you
like
want us to
that
say?
Keon
Josh Allen sucks.
Well, what do you want me to say?
5 minutes. Come
They're
on.
fucking doing great. Everything's doing great.
Congratulations. Good for you guys.
Yeah. Curtis Samuel, he's real speedy. You got to deal with that speed.
So, okay, fine, Amicus. So your big receiver is going against your little itty-bitty defensive backs that are young and dumb and they suck.
No,
I'm
they
sure
did.
He's looking good. Is that what you wanted me to say?
They did drills with big-bodied motherfuckers, like people his size.
Okay.
Yeah, he's bodying them all. They can't keep up with him.
Kincaid on defense, right?
Yeah, they can't fuck with him. They can't fuck with him. You'll see. We play you twice this year, right? You'll see. You'll see the Keon effect.
It'd be nice if we played 3 times this year.
I wish we played every game. Yeah. Oh, and the Kincaid effect. I mean, that's going to be a problem.
The Kincaid effect. Get out of here with that.
What?
The Kincaid effect.
Come on, what? Bro, Kincaid's a boss. The final boss. Don't even play.
Well, anyway, all right. So there we go. Green Rat, I screen recorded about 30 seconds of it. That shit's like a minute and 28 seconds. So
yeah, like I said, this was Dudley Do-Wrong's deal. So I don't know. I like I said, I'm confused anyhow about what day and all that stuff. So
yeah, especially if there was no OTAs, there was a shit ton of fucking players there. But I do want to say that it was pretty interesting.
They can't keep up with them.
Kincaid on defense, right?
Yeah, they can't fuck.
Oh shit! It fucking recorded y'all's audio. Never mind. I'm not gonna listen to that whole thing. But if you want, it's only 30 seconds. You'll have to re-listen to these assholes talking. But
they can't keep up with them.
Kincaid on defense, right?
Yeah, they can't fuck with them. They can't fuck with them. You'll see. We play you twice this year, right? You'll see. You'll see the Keon effect.
It'd be nice if we played 3 times this year.
I wish we played every game. Yeah. Oh, and the Kincaid effect. I mean, that's going to be a problem.
Kincaid effect. Get out of here with that.
What?
The Kincaid effect.
So who was in the goofy fucking clothes?
Clip. That's a great clip.
Yeah. Hey, the fact that some of them, the fact, I was gonna say I don't know who it was, but some of them had to get awfully fucking close.
Right? They're definitely not hockey players, are they?
Yeah, that's for damn sure. But that was definitely. But again, that was only 30 seconds out of the minute and 28. So what we saw like 7 guys in 30 seconds. So obviously there was a shit ton of fucking players there for it not being an OTA, but
Gotta be the weight room.
Probably. I mean, conditioning, treatment, all kinds of different stuff. So, like I said, I mean, I thought it was a little cool thing, you know, showing support for the Panthers. So, let's get it.
Yeah.
Well, I also heard that Tua was actually working with a couple of the rookies, not at OTAs too. They've had some throwing sessions and stuff. So,
bro, and let me clarify this because I've been getting butchered today. I've been getting butchered the past 2 days. I want the guy to get paid just like you guys want him to get paid because it's just right. It would make us look even more of a joke if he didn't get paid. But why is it that we're in a rush to do it now when you can just pay the premium later? If he balls out this year, then he can be even paid more.
That's what I've been saying, Cat.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of our argument has been that for quite some time. And, you know, you keep dicking around, you know, if Dak gets his money, who else is it? Trevor Lawrence and all that. All you're doing is you're going to dick around until the price is so freaking high. And then if you force him to play on the 5th-year option and he balls out, next year you're going to be paying fucking 65, 70 million a year and screwing yourself in the long term.
Yeah, but at least you'll know. Again, if you know that a guy is worth the money, you pay him.
Yeah, well, the thing is just like you said earlier, though, we know he's worth the money and paying him. Now, can you argue about how much? Okay, that's fine and that's dandy, but the dude is a level below the elite guys. He's higher than the above average guys. You might as well just pay him now. Pay him now at a fair market value instead of, okay, you know he's going to continue to trend upward, and all that's doing is making his price extend upward too.
I put him in the Dak Prescott category.
I was listening to a show that said there's only one elite quarterback, period.
Well, everybody knows that.
Well,
that's Mahomes.
That's ridiculous.
Everybody else is on a different tier.
Yeah, that's stupid. Makes no sense.
They made some awful good points during it.
Green Rat.
Your bias is showing, FS1.
Hey, Green Rat, my question to you, because I've been hearing that all day today, and that's a good question. Who's number 2 and who's number 3?
Well, really? You don't know the fucking answer to that?
Second tier is probably Allen and Burrow and Jackson.
Burrow is not in the second tier. No.
But what's second tier to you, 3 or 5?
Well, here was their argument. Man, I'm trying to remember it exactly. Burrow can beat Kansas City in the playoffs. He's like 3-1 against Kansas City. Made it to a Super Bowl. Josh Allen hasn't.
Oh. So that's Mahomes' boogeyman?
That was their, of how, why they couldn't put Allen as with Mahomes, but that's why they put Allen and Burrow on the same level.
Yeah.
And that's why Lamar can't get up any higher because he can't win in the playoffs either.
Yeah, but the thing is that's taking into account going based on strictly, in my opinion, skills and talent, not actual what you're getting. Because if Joe Burrow, just like they tried to make the argument about Tua, if you can't stay on the field, then obviously you're not elite. Well, I think that would apply to Burrow too. The dude can't stay on the field.
I think they took the injury part out of everything.
Let me ask you guys this. Do you think that it's more worth beating Mahomes, knowing that you can beat him? Or is it more worth, you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Like, is it worth having that type of advantage knowing you got a quarterback that can beat Mahomes?
Yeah, I guess you pay the guy that can beat Mahomes.
So now, right? So do you put head to head, or you put schedule for the team as far as victories? Because that would be the Bills probably, right?
Right. So that's why they're saying, Mahomes tier 1, tier 2, the 3 that I mentioned, and then you have quite a few of the other ones, the other quarterbacks, Tua, Golf, all the rest of the good quarterbacks.
What about the Ravens? Do the Ravens have more wins as far as season wins compared to the Bills?
No, Lamar's just a. What did they say?
You know why this is a stupid argument? Because look at your own guy, your own legend, Dan Marino. Dan Marino is considered one of the greatest of all time. Didn't win shit.
Just go with it. Just go with it. Because I'm trying to figure out the number 3 now. Because your boy's in the conversation, but I need to know who number 3 is.
So what started this? And Irving, I think this was Twitter. I think I misspoke. Because didn't they start something with? No, that was another fucking show. I watched too many shows today.
That's driving called CRS right there, Green Rat. It's called CRS. Can't remember shit.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I put like 400 miles on back and forth at work today, so I was listening to Twitter and FS1 and a little Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco. And their interview was actually pretty good. But no, I guess there's some truth to what they were saying is, Mahomes, he has good teams, bad teams. He still gets it done, and he wins fucking Super Bowls. Elite. No one else is doing that. No one else. No other quarterback right now.
Hey, Green Rat, he showed up today to OTAs like he had a hangover, bro. He just looked like, I'm going to go in there, have a hangover, and win a Super Bowl.
Oh, Mahomes? I saw that. He's pretty fat. I mean, he has a big belly. I was kind of amazed. But, no, so I understand what they were saying. So then you have other quarterbacks that, regular season, they ball out. They're good players. Burrow has made it to the Super Bowl. Allen hasn't. If you ask me who's better, Burrow or Allen, I think Allen is. But
absolutely,
that doesn't change tiers, though. This is just a tier thing, not who's better. I mean,
not an order per se, but a tier system.
And the Ravens can always beat the Bengals if Lamar's healthy all year. That's another thing they said. It's the Ravens division.
Panthers up. Hey, Panthers up 2-0 with 3 minutes left. Let's fucking go.
So, yeah, it was just interesting. I mean, to me, they made some good points. They kind of had Tua as, like I said, tier 3, pushing to be, if he has another year and gets his December wins and knocks off some of this bullshit narratives this year, then he would probably come close to moving up. But right now he is tier 3.
Tier 2. Hey, the Panthers, the Rangers just scored into their own goal.
No!
2-0. No, it's 2-0. We're up 2-0, but the Rangers
it's Verhaeghe. Yeah, well, Verhaeghe they said that it was a deflection off of Verhaeghe for an own goal. Is what ESPN is
pretty much
stating. Yeah. But
So
speaking of Mahomes being fat, apparently he's been eating cheeseburgers and shit with fucking Andy Reid lately.
I get it. Really, he did not look good walking in.
Bro, I am not worried about Fatty Patty, bro. Fatty Patty's going to be Batty Patty by the season, bro.
Hey,
right?
What happened was,
Batty the Batty will be ready, bro.
Hey, what happened with Mahomes is he did too many of them damn takes of State Farm when he was eating the fucking burger and the chicken nuggets and shit.
Now if he shows up to the regular season looking like Thor from Endgames, then we got a problem.
Right.
I mean, don't test me on that Patty the Batty, bro. I don't know how that motherfucker does it, dude.
He knows how to fast. That's why, bro. He knows how to do it, and he knows the dates to
But
do
the
it.
thing is, it's not about fasting. The thing is it's you go and you eat like shit after a fight for like 2 weeks, and then you got to spend another 3 or 4 leading up to your training camp for your next fight, slimming back down. It has nothing to do with fasting.
He's like Kobayashi, bro. He goes at it. He's I don't know how he does it, bro.
Dude, I remember, I forgot which podcast. I think it was Ariel Hawani's podcast. And he was talking about after a fight for like the next week and a half, he's fucking eating like 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day and working out minimally. And I'm like, holy shit. And then he goes, but then when about 3 or 4 weeks before my next training camp for the next fight starts, he said, I'll cut that shit out. I'll start working out. I'll get down to, he'll take in like 2,800 calories, and he's burning like 6,000 to 7,000 calories a day.
Hell yeah.
Like, damn, dude. But the thing is in reality, yeah, it's cool. It's great. But putting that type of fucking stress on your body is not good. That is not sustainable.
I mean, you could do it how many times max? Maybe 4?
Oh, no, you could do it more than that. I mean, the thing is, though, is the more often you do it, you're going to create physiological changes that your body's going to get used to. And say he gets an opportunity to fight, on short notice for the title or something like that. Then when you think that you got 4 weeks to go and get back into shape before your camp starts and you don't have that time frame, your body's not going to know what the fuck to do. Your body gets in rhythmic cycles, man.
What do you think about the bathtub ice bucket? I mean, what do you think about that?
Cold plunges?
Yeah.
Cold plunges are good. I mean, they're not bad for your body. I mean, they help you recuperate. They obviously, with ailments as far as bumps, bruises, and shit like that, it's good for you. Now, it does increase your heart rate. It causes an adrenaline dump in your body. And I mean, it has its physiological benefits, but for the average person, unless you're, highly active and physical, it's really not going to give you the benefits that it does to athletes. Does that make sense?
So speaking on that, they did an interview with AJ Styles. Everybody, I think, knows AJ Styles.
The wrestler.
And he's got really, really big, and he says that's what he starts every morning with is like a 3-minute plunge.
Yeah.
And he fucking loves it.
Yeah, and the thing is a lot of that there's physiological benefits, but there's also mental benefits. It creates, again, people's ability to block things out for you to train yourself mentally to not give in to that fight or flight response. And that's cold plunges are part of that. Now, the thing is when average people see athletes doing this and they go, oh yeah, I'm going to do it at my house. And then they end up getting hypothermia or, other ailments because they're not doing it in the correct form or fashion, is when it becomes a problem. Like there's one, and I'm not gonna name the name of the channel on YouTube, but there's a husband and wife that do it together like every day. And the wife will get out and she'll be like, oh my God, I've been out for an hour and I still can't feel the tips of my toes. And I'm like, I'm going to sip my fucking tea and just watch, because either you're engaging too long, or you're at a temperature that's way too low that you should not be getting into, period. Like, there's one thing, obviously when you get into a cold plunge, your body it takes the blood from your skin and it puts it into your vital organs to try to keep your vital organs warm. That's just a physiological response. Now, when you get to the point where you've been out for an hour and you still have sensation loss, yeah, that's a fucking problem. That's a problem.
Did you guys hear that Lamar Jackson dropped a bunch of weight too?
Yes, I did. He said that
like 25 pounds or something.
Yeah, he lost like between 15 and 25 pounds, and he said that he wants to be more agile. So we'll see.
That's crazy.
He was up. I mean, yeah, Lamar Jackson faster.
He needs to be faster and more elusive. That's exactly what we want, right?
Yeah, exactly. And fucking smaller so you can't fucking grab his ass. That's great.
Right.
But when he does get hit, it's going to hurt a little bit more. But he normally does. I don't even remember the last time I saw Lamar Jackson getting blown the fuck up, though. Dude knows how to fucking get down when he needs to get down. But anyway, so we had a lot of stuff come out. Everybody's still arguing about Tua and all the guys that did or don't show up and all of that. Now, I want to correct myself. We were talking about other significant dates. June 4th is the beginning of mandatory veteran minicamp. And I misspoke. I said August 8th was our first preseason game. It is not the 8th. It is actually the 9th. So I apologize for that fuck up. But we have first preseason on the 9th, the second preseason on the 17th, and the final game August 25th in Tampa Bay. So I just wanted to correct myself on
and
those.
We have joint practices with all three football teams.
Yes. And it's interesting the way that they did that. We're going to be having 2 joint practices in our first preseason game. We're going to have 1 joint practice with Atlanta in our second, and we're going to have 1 joint practice with Tampa Bay for our third, because the collective bargaining agreement says you can have up to 4 joint practices, where normally we have 2 joint practices with the first 2 preseason teams. And Mike McDaniel decided to break up the last 2 for 1 with each of the final remaining 2 teams. Yeah, and when he spoke about it during his presser, and see, now this is where I'm going to pull a cap for life, because when I read the article, I don't know if that presser was from yesterday or if it was from today, but whenever that presser was, he was asked about why he made that decision, and he said that the veracity of competition when you're going against a new opponent gives them more benefit that he thinks than going 2-2 against only 2 opponents, rather than getting a little bit switch up. Obviously, knowing there's different schemes, there are different players, there are different, motivating factors as far as, the younger talent is concerned, going up against other rookies in the same draft class and all of that. And so it gives a motivational boost as well for people to start proving themselves early. And I thought it was a pretty damn good take on it.
By the way,
what do you guys think?
I was watching the hockey thing with the guys shooting. It's on Bleacher Report now. And one of the guys that missed was Mike White. He missed way wide right. It's kind of like his throwing of the football.
Yeah, ain't that
like
the damn
Buffalo,
truth?
I like
like
to see that
Buffalo.
all the hard work
Anyway,
go into good news.
so CT, so essentially what you're saying, so how many joint practices will be involved with the first preseason game, which is I think here in Miami against Atlanta? How many joint practices is that?
2.
Two. Okay, so against what was the other team? Uh, who was the next team? Washington.
Yep,
Are
and
we playing
then
at
Tampa
Washington?
Bay. Yep, and
So
then
it's
there's one with
two for
Washington
Washington,
and one with Tampa.
one with Washington, and one with Tampa. Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, what you said about Mike B. Danny. I mean, I can kind of understand what he's saying because when you have two joint practices, it kind of takes away from the final preseason game because it feels like
Exactly.
you once you have
I
had your
agree.
third practice already, you kind of already know what you guys are gonna run against each other, and then the
Damn, the
starters are not gonna
Panthers
play.
ended
Like
up
you already
winning
know what it's.
3-0. Let's fucking go, Panthers.
Let's go,
Yep.
Gatos!
Yeah. One of them scored on an empty net. It was one of them. It was an error by one of the Rangers players, and then the other one was uh open net, empty net. So yeah.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
anyways,
fuck
like
it.
yeah, like
Hey, when you fucking suck and you gotta be desperate enough to have an empty net, so be it. Panthers whooping that
it,
ass, baby. Let's go. Anyway.
I can see where he's coming from because in those type of practices, like it where you especially when you have the preseason games where you have more than one joint practice, you kind of already know what you're going up against because your starters have already played the majority of the reps against their, the like say for example, your offense has played against the opposing starting defense already, right? And you've already seen in the same respect your defense, your starters going up against their starters, and it kind of is already a preseason game because you have the 7-on-7s, you have the 11-on-11s, you have the 1-on-1s. So it's kind of like a preseason game already. So when you just use the other preseason games as just more to give more opportunities to your younger players, your undrafted guys, your rookies to get more reps. And then they put out their second and third string guys. That's where you never see barely starters unless if you use one of those games as like a rehearsal game. But since you're gonna probably have since you have an extra week as opposed to the 16 games, that extra game serves as a preseason game. So it's like whatever. Especially now that we're going to 18 games that second week, that extra week becomes a 2 season preseason game. So yeah, but yeah. I kind of see what Mike McDaniel is getting because yeah. Once you get to the preseason game, it's like we already faced this teams. We already faced this team twice in the joint practices. Like I don't really care about the preseason game. I'll just let that game be a game for like all these younger players that need to make the roster. Or the practice squad get some reps in.
So yeah, when he was talking about this, I put up the transcript. It's 2 against Atlanta, 1 against Washington, 1 at Tampa, and he discussed again that it's very important to play consistent, and when you have the ability to go against multiple schemes, multiple techniques, different players, you also learn how to communicate against different teams, and it allows the younger guys to play with conviction and complementary technique. So I thought
Yeah,
that was
overcome.
interesting.
Yeah.
So
Can you send me that article, CT? Or can you put it like in the
just Google Dolphins
okay?
transcripts, and it's on the MiamiDolphins.com. And we're going to get into Jordan Poyer's transcript from yesterday because he was actually asked about the comments about Tua versus Josh Allen and all of that. He said
Josh Allen sucks, is what he said today.
the question was, what did you tell QB Josh Allen when you were in front of him, and what do you tell Tua when you see him? And he says, I love Tua. That's one of the big reasons why I'm here. He is who he is, and Josh is who he is. He said, I've been a teammate with Josh Allen for 7 years. I've seen so many plays that he's made. You could argue Aaron Rodgers, Tua, and Josh. Whoever you want to argue, at the end of the day, that's my dog. I love Josh and I love Tua. I can't wait to play against him, but I love Tua. This offense is a high attack scoring offense. My job on the other end is to get Tua the ball back as fast as I can to let Tua score some more points, unlike Josh Allen. I added the last piece, but again. So I thought that was interesting that they went ahead and
I brought that up today and I almost got crucified for it, man.
What? Which part?
Basically 3/4 of what you just wrote, what you just read.
About the fact that people got upset that Poyer at the charity game said softball game that he loves or Josh Allen is best QB in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, bro. I mean, I brought it up. I didn't say anything else but that, and they were just ready to rip my head off. I'm like, why are you shooting the messenger? I'm asking if it's true first, and then second, if it's true, they didn't even let me ask him what's your thoughts about it. But what's your thoughts about it?
Well, my thoughts about it is exactly what he said. We addressed it. Amicus brought it up the other day on the show. I believe it was Monday, and it's like I said, the dude has played essentially other than his 1 or 2 years in Cleveland, he played his entire career with Josh Allen. Of course he's going to have love for Josh Allen. That's his teammate, former teammate now, but of course when he's going to a charity softball game in Buffalo, of course he's going to pander to the Buffalo crowd, but he still has respect for Josh Allen. He still loves the dude, but that doesn't mean that because he's saying that he's somehow trying to shit on Tua. And I think that that's kind of the way people want to perceive that. And especially if you were on Twitter with Tua guys don't want to listen to that because they think that people are going to insinuate that Poyer says that Tua sucks and Josh Allen is the best QB. It's like, no, he thinks that he has high regard for fucking Josh Allen, but obviously he has high regard for Tua. So I think that people try to make shit out of nothing. And then on the flip side, Tua lovers get fucking butthurt about any comment that's made that could somehow be misconstrued as a negative toward Tua, and they just don't want to discuss it.
CT, I didn't even get a chance to put my conspiracy theory.
CT,
I never got a chance to put my conspiracy theory in, and they were ready to rip my head off.
CT, you know that I was watching a film breakdown of how Jalen Hurts was getting blitzed at least 40% of his dropbacks. It was number one in the NFL, like 40.5%. And they said that one of the key problems was that there's too many freaking goal balls and 9 routes. Which is whether it's a 9 route, I think there was another route.
Yeah, it's the long developing.
The slot fade. There you go, the slot fade, right?
Yeah.
And so it's usually like a little quick 3-step drop and then the deep ball, right? Vertical routes and stuff like that. And the problem is that the Eagles offensively, now, they said that with Jalen Hurts, he likes to, when he senses pressure, he likes to scramble. He doesn't really sit in the pocket and watch the routes develop and waits for the routes to develop. Like, he's very impatient in the pocket. So they started blitzing, right? Because that's his first. That's his first
instinct.
Instinct is to bail out of the pocket. So, and there's number one, that's the first problem. And number two, there's the streak routes and there's the lack of like routes developing over the middle of the field, because part of his Jalen Hurts, he doesn't really look towards the middle of the field. He likes to attack vertically. And the Eagles schematically don't have guys running in breakers. They don't have guys running, crossers underneath routes to set up a hot route. And that's how pretty much Tua beat the fucking blitz last year because you have I mean, maybe there's lack of hot routes, um, but you do have the in breaking routes, right? You have the glance routes over the middle of the field. He does have a quick trigger release, and they kind of balance that with the streak route. So he's, with the more vertical route. So it all kind of like combined together to make him the highest graded quarterback against the blitz according to PFF. I think he had like a 91.2 grade, 91.2, yeah, against the
Yeah,
blitz.
his
He
entire
was
career
ridiculously
too has
good against the blitz.
been great against the blitz his entire career. But you bring up that point, and it's an interesting point with the retirement of Jason Kelsey. The Eagles are going to have to make some fucking adjustments to that fucking scheme there because you're not going to have the center in the middle for him to be patient and wait
No,
That's
on
true.
those routes to develop.
to be honest with you,
And
they
that's the
were
thing
better
that
without the
Tua
twitch
has
push.
All right, hold on. One at a
two.
time, damn it. Go ahead,
No, I
Spidey,
was
and
just
then
saying.
Cap for life.
I was just saying that with compared to Jalen Hurts, Tua has good awareness in the pocket. Like he has good feel for the pocket. He's got good footwork. So he knows that when there's one of the offensive line starts to get pushed into his pocket, he knows which lane to step up into, and deliver the throw. So there's
Yeah,
other things, the
absolutely.
quick trigger release, the timing routes. He gets to the rear of the ball super quick. I think like 62% of his dropbacks, like he gets the ball, he gets rid of the football in 2.3 seconds, in less than 2.5 seconds. So it's like
That's by
it's dangerous to
design.
blitz. You can't blitz him, huh?
Go
I,
ahead, Cap for life.
No, I mean to Irvin's point, yeah. I mean, yeah. Why even do the tush push if you're getting that type of production?
yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Why don't they do the tush push after every touchdown for a 2-point conversion if it's so effective?
Yeah,
I know,
I
right?
would. Yeah,
Yeah, you
Well,
gotta
because the 2-point conversion comes
or
from
forego the
the
extra point.
the 2-point.
Go ahead, CT. You good?
Yeah, I was saying that the 2-point conversion comes from the 2-yard line, though. It's not a 1-yard play.
Yeah, but they gain 5 yards every push. I mean,
Sometimes they do. Fuck, Washington is the only one that could stop them fuckers with that bastard.
really?
Yeah, Washington is the only one that fucking stopped them multiple times.
Is that why we're going after that D tackle from Washington? I heard we're trying to make a trade for him.
Which one?
Irving, you know the name?
no, if y'all played in the same
The
division as
Giants,
the
or
Eagles, maybe, but you never see the
you
Eagles.
mean
So
Jonathan Allen, Cap,
Yeah, something like that.
the
Yeah,
guy from the Commanders? Nah, I
yeah.
think that was just a rumor. But I don't know. I don't think we're going and getting any defensive tackle. I think it's just gonna be
Yeah, we got like
you're gonna
8,
have
right?
3 to, yeah, you got something like that. I think it's like 7 guys, but you're just gonna have 3 down defensive tackle, which is gonna be Zach Sealer, and then everybody else is gonna be rotational. Like I was talking about in space, like you're gonna have Benito Jones gonna be your rotating depending on the front that they use. Benito Jones should be your nose tackle. He's gonna be like a 2 down guy on rushing downs, and then um Tier Tart is gonna be like your one technique, 2 guy, and he could be, you could use him in any type of passing. You could use him in any situation, passing or rushing. Um, but yeah, and then of course Gallimore is just going to be strictly passing downs because Neville Gallimore is going to be strictly passing downs because he is a pass rusher mostly. Then he is a run defender, and then all the other guys like the guy from the Panthers. I think he's what was his name? Max something. Damn, I was remembering their names and I just completely forgot. Isaiah Mack, excuse me, Isaiah Mack. So Isaiah Mack is going to be like a rushing run defensive specialist, and things of that nature. It's going to be rotational. It's going to be rotation.
So just for the OTAs thing, this week OTAs for Miami was Monday, Tuesday. They're off Wednesday, and then Thursday they have another OTA, and then next week it's Tuesday, Wednesday off, Thursday, and then Friday.
Yeah, I was gonna say he just sent me over that. Yeah, but yeah, mandatory mini camp is June 4th to June 6th, like I said, and then obviously the preseason games, the 9th for Atlanta, the 17th for Washington, and the 25th for Tampa Bay. So, just for clarification on the OTAs and the
Yeah,
so.
just because I was so confused on, what was going on. So I
Which is
looked it up.
crazy though, because I mean, I get it. I get the idea as far as performance, like sport performance, giving them a break, 2 days, day off, 2 days, 2 days off, 2 days, day off, 2 days. I can get that, but I mean, again, maybe I don't know. Maybe the Dolphins and their fucking training staff are learning a thing or two, because this is the first time they've done that. This is the first time they've broken up OTAs in the middle of the week. So I don't know. Maybe
Hey,
there's
so
fucking hope for the fucking Dolphins training staff after all.
so CT, so it's it says I'm going back to where we were talking to this. It says going back to the joint practices. What are the benefits of switching up? Going with what's the benefit? What are the benefits of switching that up? Going with three different preseason opponents. Did you read this whole entire
Yeah,
quote
I did.
during the game?
I didn't read the entire thing. I read through it and I kind of summarized some stuff, because as
Yeah,
you can see, that fucking transcript is long as shit.
yeah, yeah. It says pretty much like he, you know, every offseason is different. The specific needs of your teams vary. And he says in the specific offseason, they had the opportunity to get a couple more valuable practice days against varied looks, varied techniques. And he thinks that the intensity of the practice in general is going to be raised to a degree when you're going up against fresh new opponents. So, yeah, I think he's trying to make that like he wants to add a different opponent to the joint practices to kind of give you to increase
Yeah,
the intensity of the
the
practices.
versatility, the difference between
Yeah, that,
schemes,
right. It
getting
looks,
them as
yeah,
much exposure to
right,
different techniques, different schemes, different
right.
opponents, different players,
Yeah,
And again,
yeah.
like I said, they asked like 8 or 9 different questions to him about the OTAs
Yeah.
or the
And just to sum it up at the
joint
end, oh, go
practices.
ahead.
So. No, I
Yeah,
was
it says,
saying they
I
asked
think,
him like 8 different questions about the
no,
joint
I know.
practices. I wasn't going to read every fucking response.
No, I know. It says, I think with the players off season, the way that our specific team practices against each other, I'm forecasting that will be a new that will be a new breath of fresh air to see somebody else. So I think there's a lot of things that go into it. But in this particular formula, we saw benefit. Sorry, but in this particular formula, we saw benefit in getting a couple more practice reps against opponents and then adding to our off season of development. I can see where he's coming from. I think it's a pretty unique approach.
Yeah, like I said, it really comes down to, because there's another response somewhere in there, talking about the young guys. And like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
said, the continued development, not only of the veteran guys, but the younger guys of, they get to play against other rookies. They get to build their confidence. They get to, all these different things. And I like it. I think that, like you said, not only when you go to practices against the same team,
it gets a
it
little,
makes
yeah,
sense. It makes sense with the first preseason game, right? Because in the first
yeah,
preseason game, the starters only play a drive or two. So
right,
then you drop down to one
or not at all.
practice. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, some teams do
But
none, but
just right.
yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Then week 2, where you're only gonna have one practice, one joint practice, but the starters will play, a quarter or two. You know what I mean? And so I think that by doing the first 2 practices with the first team allows the starters to get reps against the other starters, knowing that they're not really going to get very many reps in the actual preseason game. And then, so
Facts. Yeah.
I think it makes sense. I mean, statistically, it
Yeah.
makes
Right.
sense. In theory, it makes sense. In opportunity, it
Yeah.
makes sense. So I like it. I absolutely like it.
Yep. Yeah, he said something about Nick Needham being cross-trained as a safety. Um, he said the question is, with this cornerback unit, obviously you've seen a lot of new faces and a lot of guys playing different roles. I believe Nick Needham is kind of being cross-trained as a safety. He's done that in the past. What do you hope to see in periods like this where it's really glorified 7-on-7 from the secondary? He says you want to see it's like part. What do you say? You want to see it's like part of whole any orchestration of team defense, team offense, team special needs is you're trying to introduce and apply consistent techniques so that players can know where their help is, know what to depend on, know how to communicate. And so everyone is on the same page because the bottom line is a lot of the times it doesn't matter what you're playing as long as everyone is playing with conviction and complementary technique. I'm trying to see the consistency and ownership of technique when you're trying different things from bump and from off at the corner position. I want to see the different tools that we give the players committed to and orchestrate and how does that relate to the safety? How does that relate to the nickel or the backer? Those things are very important when you're trying to play consistent, convicted defense. So I'm trying to see that uniformity of technique and implementation. So we have consistency in all 3 phases, and specifically with what you're asking about at the corner position. So he's asking for like guys to be, you know, fluid in terms of their versatility, their communication. You know, he wants to see how guys apply certain techniques when they're playing off or they're playing like bump and run or basically how the corners communicate. Like if you're playing, it's you're playing outside leverage, and you're funneling the fucking route to the middle so you can get to your safety hub. He just wants to see how that fucking how with practice, how it, how easily that flows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I like it. I
How
mean,
that
we talked
process
about
goes.
Needham. We talked about Needham doing safety, and if you're not going to use him in the slot, and you think that Kohu is going to be your slot guy, why not cross train him? I mean, knowing that, like you said, we've talked about whether you bring in Justin Simmons or not, you're going to have a 3 safety, set.
Right.
You're going to rotate guys in and out. Why not? You don't want to need him sitting on the fucking bench. He's a fucking great player. The dude was the
Yeah.
best slot corner in the NFL for 2 years before he had the Achilles injury. So it's not
No,
like the dude was a bad player.
and I think that one of the problems of this defense last season was guys were not on the same page, and I think he's trying to emphasize, that he wants to have these guys communicate well and make sure that they're on the same page, because
Yeah.
it kind of translates to everybody playing with conviction and playing with complementary technique and everything. And all in all, you try to limit the big explosive plays, right? You try to contain, you try to execute your job on defense. You know what I mean? And yeah, whether it's like a linebacker passing off a fucking crosser to a nickel, whatever it is, right? You just want to make sure you guys are on the fucking same page and there's no miscommunication, so there's no fuck ups. And that's what happened like late in the season last year. You know, especially like the Ravens game was fucking evident of that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And it was very interesting that you brought up that communication point. Amicus's boy Poyer was talking about that as well during his press conference. He was asked about coming into Anthony Weaver's scheme. And he spoke about the fact that, and I didn't know this, but Jordan Poyer actually played in Cleveland when Mike McDaniel was there, along with
That's
Ryan
crazy.
Slovic, along with Anthony Weaver. All of the, like, there's like 6 different coaches on this coaching staff that were there in Cleveland with Mike McDaniel and Anthony Weaver on the staff on the defensive side. And he said that he loves the fact that one of the things that Anthony Weaver concentrates on, he said, although the terminology is different, there's some nuances here and there, that Anthony Weaver's focus on communication and technique and teaching where you're supposed to be and when you're supposed to be there. I thought that was, very important. Like you said, how many times did we see a Kohu not know what the fuck to do? How many times did we see, Jerome Baker not knowing what the fuck to do? Like,
Right.
I think it's a good thing to focus on that communication. And the Needham thing again, not only is it good depth wise, hey, if something happens to Kohu sucks like he did last year, you can put Needham right back in where he was. And if not, Kohu holds his own and bounces back from his, what do they call it? The sophomore slump. If he bounces back from that, you've got Needham being able to play in the safety spot. It's a win-win. What do you think about that, Green Rat? What do you think about that whole situation?
And real quick, because no,
go ahead real quick and then let him go. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying because Poyer is the type of player that he's, when he talks about like, terminology or he talks about, the certain details, like, he complimented Weaver how about he focuses on and emphasizes technique and emphasizes being on the same page and how important communication is. Well, Jordan Poyer is a player who usually has a knack of being in the right place at the right time. He's an effective communicator in the secondary, especially that he's played center field, and he matches the versatility that Anthony Weaver demands for the defense. He played everywhere: box, slot, over top. You know what I mean? So that's a perfect fit. Go ahead.
Absolutely. All right, go ahead, Green Rat.
I wasn't paying attention. I was watching the Indiana Fever coming back to take the lead.
Shit, trying to get their first win of the season.
Oh, did they win, Green Rat?
Nope, they're up 58-56.
So they're about to
End
get
of the
their
third.
first win.
What channel is that game on? So I can.
I was just looking at Bleacher Report. I was seeing any other rumors, to bring up tonight. Like Bleacher Report's trying to say Dolphins should sign Justin Simmons. I mean, I think everyone's already talked about that before. So
yeah, and that's kind of what
anyone's
we were
a free agent that needs to go to Miami. That's all we ever get. I mean,
pretty much. If it's a guy at a premier position that we lack depth at, apparently we're going to sign all of them.
Right. And I'm sure it's probably similar, in Buffalo country, Any great player that's out there, Buffalo should sign him. I mean, it's just kind of the way it is. Maybe not, I guess.
What do you think,
1st?
Amicus?
I think we free up like $10 or $11 million after June 1st, so we'll see. I don't think we're done. I don't think it's going to be a major name, but I think it's possible we add another wide receiver to compete.
Well, he was saying as far as like the fan base, as far as the rumors, like any position that you guys have lack of depth at or anything, like your fan base is like, oh, we're gonna sign this guy and 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 this guy.
Right. Yeah.
No, we would be signing 53 new guys.
It's not. I mean,
our fan bases.
We don't really have any holes. See, I mean, y'all look. You're gonna look at his cap. Exactly. I can't even speak honestly because anything I say is bias rhetoric.
No, I was saying you're telling me that nobody in your fan base is that fan that anytime a big name or anything, oh yeah, we're gonna sign that guy, even though you know
every fan base
I will be I'll be objective here. I think you guys with all the draft picks that you had 10 draft picks. You know what I mean? I think you guys did a good job in free agency and the draft, like covering all your holes. I don't see that many weaknesses on your roster. To be honest.
Right, exactly, and that's just the truth. Yeah. I mean, we may add a depth piece here and there, but we're even our wide receiver room right now. You know, for what it is, for not having that room,
especially at the top. Spidey, damn it.
Sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, what I really would like to do, I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm hoping that $11 million gives us a chance. I hope the 49ers are willing to play, you know. Like, that would be really – you want me to say, like, where I think we really need an upgrade and what would put this team absolutely as a Super Bowl contender, trade for Brandon Ayuk.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to happen, but that's my wish list.
Yeah, and that's fine. But we were just asking if you, like, again, you have that fans in the fan base where anytime any big name, whether it's a free agent or, oh, we heard so-and-so's on the trading block, and they're like, oh, the Bills are going to get him. Oh, we're going to trade for him. Oh, we're going to sign him. And it's
not like
the running back for us. It started with Dalvin Cook, then it went to Henry, and then it went to Jonathan Taylor, and it didn't end all year.
It's not like I see with the Dolphins platforms. You know, it's a little different. Like, you got one or two fans that do it, but honestly, anytime in the forums that a name is brought up, the whole fan base is like, nope, we don't need them. Nope. They're very negative about most players, to be honest with you.
So you guys are
we're the opposite.
Yeah, you guys are fixated on let's worry about the players we have. Let's develop them. Let's deal with these guys. You guys don't want an influx, I guess, or majority of the fan base doesn't want an influx of new talent. They're kind of like, let's stick with what we got. We're kind of,
Exactly. Even like with a Derrick Henry, like his name was brought up in some forums, and it's a lot of negativity. It's like, no, he's over the hill. He's old. Buffalo is just that unique group of fan base that they're all about the right now, the team right now. Like, fuck everybody else.
How much did Henry sign for?
Derrick Henry?
I have no idea.
8 million or something?
But Amicus, like, what you have on your roster, I mean, you got a good mix of veterans and rookies. Like, I don't, that's why when your fans say that, like, hey, we shouldn't go after this marquee free agent or whatever, like, you guys got good veterans in house, like, you know what I mean?
That's why I said it's only like wide receiver. Like, you'll only hear people say something like Brandon Ayuk, but any other position, you're not going to get anybody excited about anything because they love James Cook. We believe in James Cook. We love who we just drafted in Ray Davis from Kentucky to back up James Cook. We love the safety we got.
Ray Davis.
I heard that some Bills fans.
What school is he from? I'm sorry.
Not happy.
Kentucky. Okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying I heard from some Bills fans that you guys aren't happy with some of the depth at your offensive line. Is that true?
I mean, we lost Mitch Morris, right? So, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, listen, offensive line has always been a touchy subject with the Bills Mafia just because Allen's always running for his fucking life. You know what I mean? And, I mean, that's half of it is part of his game. And Allen, my critique of Allen, I really only have two critiques of Allen. Decision-making in crucial moments, and he will leave. A lot of people don't realize this because you don't watch the games like I do, but he will leave the pocket earlier than is necessary. Greg Cosell, he mentions that a lot. Greg Cosell, the NFL analyst, he leaves the pocket earlier than necessary. He'll feel the pressure that's not necessarily there when he could just move up like 2 steps up in the pocket and still.
I've seen that before. Yep. Yeah, I've seen that before. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's
a backyard player, right?
Yeah.
That's his game, man. Like rolling out and scanning the field, and if he can run, he'll run. So that's his comfort zone. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only reason I was bringing that up is Bleezy and I were totally fucking trolling Bills fans one night, and I don't remember where it was, but they were having a conversation about their concern about the depth at the offensive line. That they mentioned Mitch Morris and they mentioned another guy, and the other guy apparently was an interior guy that had versatility, and they were like, look, you know, we got to have something, whether it's an influx of younger talent. They were talking about, I guess you guys got a couple UDFAs that were guards and centers, and they were not very hopeful about whether those UDFAs were going to do shit for you. And they were talking about, you know, needing to upgrade the depth at the O-line. And they did mention their concern about wide receiver. And they also mentioned, if I remember correctly, depth at cornerback.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're probably talking about Spencer Brown, the right tackle, because he was a question mark, but he played pretty good last year. I mean, we had to move Connor McGovern to center, right, since Mitch Morris left. But we still have the anchor, Deion Dawkins. He's a perennial Pro Bowler. David Edwards, stays or goes to left guard. Osiris Torrance is our second-round pick from last year, so I mean he's a beast. And Spencer, but the depth is an issue. Ryan Bates was a guy. Our whole team is all, even on the defensive line. McDermott loves versatility. Guys that aren't necessarily specialists in one area, but can play multiple positions. So that's the makeup of our D-line and O-line.
So what's your weakest position, Amicus?
Probably, I would say cornerback.
No, but I was saying on the offensive line, though.
Oh, well,
I know. Your coach likes versatility, but what do you?
I mean, probably center at the moment because we don't know. We did draft that center though out of Georgia. With the long last name.
Cedric Van Green.
He's good, and he's
not
good.
A great athlete,
right? So maybe not this year, but at some point, a year from now, he's going to take over. But Spencer Brown is the death of the Mafia. Like if he can just lock down the right tackle position and protect Josh, we're golden.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me finish this up real quick. No, you're fine. I just wanted to finish up on the on your take because you just said cornerback because they were also on that podcast. They were talking about the depth at corner. How do you feel about that too? I mean,
Christian Benford. He's a starter. Taron Johnson is probably the best nickel in the league. And Rasul Douglas, we traded for him from the Packers, and he's a beast. So, and then Kaiir Elam backs him up. And Kyer Elam is still, we don't, first round pick. I hope he's not a bust, but
That's
listen,
what they were
Christian
saying.
Benford was like a
they were
fifth round
saying
pick.
they think he's a fucking bust.
Well, a fifth round pick overtook a starting position from a first round pick, right? So, yeah.
Okay. Because at least we know the podcast we were listening to is somewhat accurate.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, man, Matt Milano, he's still not cleared to practice yet. He's got about another month. But once we get Matt Milano back, he'll start the season. Matt Milano and Bernard, man, they are beasts. And I really think this secondary and our defense it's always underestimated. 2 years ago it was because Frazier was gone. No, McDermott's better calling the plays. Now, we lose Poyer and who knows about Hyde. But now, everybody's like, oh, yeah, you're going to take a step back. It never happens because the core of our defense is schematically the brain of Sean McDermott. And y'all just got to come to grips with that.
All right. There you go. Green Rat, you said you had some off topic, but go ahead, brother.
Well, I was listening to some other podcasts talking about, Miami and, for 20, 30 years or whatever, towards the end of the season, we always seem to start out really hot and, go 9-2 or whatever and then collapse. And, we finally figured out what to do. We're going to move the fucking team out of that shithole Florida and move it up to Iowa so everyone can get used to the cold.
Oh, that way, and we can move off the Indian burial ground.
Yep. Curse is over and we'd be
but didn't you guys have fucking Indians up there in Iowa too?
Yeah, but they were peaceful.
Oh, okay. Not fucking dark magic shit.
Right.
Hey, so
yeah,
Amicus,
we're getting out of Florida.
Hey, Greener,
good.
Amicus, I was just gonna say about Granger. You guys, what gap you guys run in terms of blocking?
They run a power gap scheme, bro.
Yeah. Granger is perfect for that, bro. He's not a great athlete, but he's very technically and fundamentally sound. He's got good technique. He's got good hand placement. He's very good.
That's why
gonna
we
be a
drafted
solid
him.
starter. Yeah, center.
Yeah. And the Bills, McDermott and Brandon Beane, their philosophy is not only, they're all about scheme fit, obviously, but they're also all about IQ, man, and smart players that have. They really want smart captains. That's who they draft. Smart leaders.
Yep. And he's a smart player. Yep.
And that's what I love. And apparently, you guys do that, and we do too. And because when you were here, we did the fucking draft. You were here every fucking night with us, and we talked about with the Bills guys and the Dolphins guys, almost every single one of them. SEC or ACC, what was it? Academic honors lists.
Yeah.
You had, commissioner's academic list. All of these things, and it's well, at least you fucking pick the fucking smart ones.
Yeah, I mean it's like y'all. I think y'all run a complex system. If I know McDaniels, but we run a pretty complex system as well, especially on defense. So you gotta have some smart guys.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, hey, I gotta give him props though. I mean, at least you're finding out of all of the things that are out there. If two guys are equal or you're not, you don't know who to put one above the other. You're always picking the guy that has the academic honor portion of it, saying, okay, maybe if he's, you may not get 100% of the physicality, at least you have 100% of the intellectual.
Yeah, like a Cole Bishop, our second round pick. I mean, y'all keep that name. Listen, when we play,
he's good.
Times a year, you think you remember the name Cole Bishop.
Safety. Yeah, he's a smart safety, bro. He good. He's always at the right place at the right time, right? He's
a great blitzer too. He's going to come on that edge. He's going to surprise Tua a couple of times.
Decent in the run. I think he's pretty decent against the run as well. He's good in the box.
Yep.
Yeah, y'all got a good draft class, bro. I think you guys did a pretty solid job in the draft, bro. And Keon Coleman is a steal in the second round.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I do.
Yeah.
I think he was a good pick. I just think that, again, it was like we talked about on the show, when you even yourself, immediately, your immediate reaction was, what the fuck? Why delay it when there's guys there? But then you even admitted, you sat back and you looked at it and you were like, okay, I could see the thought process. I could see where they were going. I may not have liked it at the time, but I understand why they did it. And I was the same way about the Chop Robinson pick.
Right. Yeah, but it's like
I don't like the
as a fan always, for me, you look at those top wide receivers and you see the speed and everything, and a lot of your judgment goes on what other NFL analysts say and shit, but we passed up on all those fucking guys, man, and traded back twice because, and you don't know this at the time, but in hindsight, after listening to Bean and everything, you learn that, look at the wide receiver core group that we have right now. We used to be called the Buffalo Smurfs because everybody was so tiny. Now they're all 6'3" and above. So there's a transition with our wide receiver group where size, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, CT, that I think it's a shift of where you have all these hybrid players, smaller guys playing certain positions. So it's the Bills taking advantage of that, and we're going to try to body motherfuckers now.
Yeah, because we're going more 2 tight end sets, the 12 personnel now, going back to that now.
It's not even about that. We were talking about more
hybrid safety guys. Yeah. Go ahead, CT, my bad.
No, you're fine. And that's exactly right. We were talking about that move from the 2 tight end to say, okay, let's throw an extra wide receiver in there who's bigger, and it forces you to not use that hybrid guy who doesn't have the size. And that's, like we talked about, I feel like that's kind of the cyclical nature of the NFL in general. Just like we discussed, you went from run heavy to, okay, you had run heavy, you had bigger guys in the box, you had the hybrid safety linebackers who are bigger fucking linebackers, but were better in coverage so they can have dual responsibility and the ability to
like the rover guys. Yeah.
But whereas now that the league shifted from more run heavy to more pass heavy, then you get into, instead of I reversed that. It's originally in the pass heavy, you had standard linebackers, standard DNs, where you had a linebacker who could also play on the line of scrimmage. And then as the cyclical nature changed to a pass heavy league, then you started seeing safety linebacker hybrids to say, okay, we still want to be able to stop the run, but we have to be aware of the pass. And then you get into the bigger, okay, well, we're going to have bigger tight ends, bigger wide receivers, and we're going to start running the ball more. It's going to force a change back to linebacker / defensive lineman hybrids to try to combat that. And I just think that's the cyclical nature.
I think there's a couple of other factors in our decision as well. So we got MVS that can stretch the field and have speed, right? And we have Curtis Samuel that can do the same, a shiftier player, whatnot. But everybody else is 6'3" and above. And I think 2 things come to mind when we make this transition. One, besides the body and everybody, because of the smaller hybrids and everything, and taking advantage of that trend, I think the other 2 important things to note is that if we're going to run the ball more and use Josh Allen's legs on rollouts, well, then having bigger wide receivers helps with blocking. These guys can block, right? 2, you also have him rolling out, and in the past, while he's rolling out, we got to wait and get somebody to separate so that he can throw the ball to him. Where now it brings in the 50-50 ball a lot better. I mean, if you can imagine Keon Coleman just being down the field 30 yards with Allen rolling out, just throw him the ball. Just throw the fucking ball up there.
And you don't have to throw a perfect ball either because he's got the catch radius to, adjust and whatever. Yep.
Yeah, and that's an absolutely, sound thing, which is why, I've been talking about this. Go ahead, Irvin. What was that?
No, real quick. I'm sorry. What you said with the whole cyclical evolution of the offenses, clip that part so you can put it on your shorts if you want to. But go ahead.
Hell yeah, absolutely. But no. I was saying that's kind of
finally said something intellectual.
Oh shit! I gotta clip that part. But no, I was saying that's why I've been on the Dolphins' asses. I get it. I understand Mike McDaniel's preference for speed, but it's the argument that I've had since last offseason when I was saying, where in the fuck is the big-bodied wide receiver? We've talked about it ad nauseum. Two with Devontae Parker and the 9 routes and the C routes and the comeback routes, his ability to throw outside the numbers. Having a guy like that when these, because again, that's all he can do is check down and throw outside the numbers. Then he didn't know how to throw over the middle of the field or throw deep. And then all he does is throw deep or over the middle of the field. So it's like, okay, if you have the bigger body wide receiver, just like you said, Amicus, say the timing route's not there. Say, the crosser's not there, or the post isn't there, or there's a breakdown in pass protection. He has the security to blanket like he did a la Devontae Parker of, I could throw this back shoulder throw in rhythm, in timing, knowing that he's going to go get the ball because he can block off and shield the defender using his body. And when you take away an aspect of the offense like that and you don't have that aspect, you're pigeonholing yourself.
Yeah, I'll tell y'all. My bad. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I was just going to wrap it up. It's like that's my point. And it's very similar with what you guys have now. And to the point of our addition of OBJ, at least we have some size in that group.
Yeah, I was going to say one more thing about Keon that I really like. We know he didn't run the fastest 40, but we talked about this. He ran the fastest gauntlet, right? Which is really impressive because to me, gauntlet matters more because the ball's being thrown to you, right? And something worth noting is that I'm hearing a lot of talk about how late his hands are. And maybe that doesn't get enough coverage when it comes to the play of a wide receiver. But if you have very late hands, meaning the ball is traveling through the air and your hands come up to catch it at the very last second, which is a little risky unless you're great at it, and apparently he is, it doesn't tip off the defender. Like the defender can't look at the hands and the body language to see if the ball is in the air. That shit matters, and Keon's great at it.
And that's something that we were talking. Go ahead, Irvin, and then I'll comment.
No, go ahead. I'll ask him later. Go ahead. You cook.
No. I was just gonna say that's what you remember a week or so ago, as we were talking about, is the difference between the veteran savvy of wide receivers, cornerbacks, and all these skill positions where the rookies really don't get those things. Is the cornerback knows, okay, if the rookie goes, oh shit, the ball's coming, let me fucking put my hands up. If you do it too early, all they got to do is stick their hands in between yours.
Right.
And it's these things where the veterans know these tricks and tips and whatever that the young guys just don't know. And, a la a Cam Smith, or for you, Elam, where, okay, maybe you didn't know that year one. Maybe somebody taught you. Okay, you see his fucking pupil start to dilate. Why is his pupil dilating while he's running? Why? Because he's trying to focus on the ball.
Yeah.
So you can learn to read those things.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's the
his hands
little
are
nuances.
coming up. Yeah, the nuances. Oh, his shoulders are dropping as his hands are coming up. So when you're running, your shoulders are high to create momentum and swinging your arms and running. But when your shoulders drop, that's because your hands are coming up. When your hands come up, your shoulders drop. So when a cornerback sees that, it's a tell.
Yeah. And late hands is not something you can probably learn pretty quickly, right? To me, that seems more inherent.
Absolutely fucking not. Either you have it or you don't.
Right, but route running is something that can actually be taught at the NFL level. You can progressively get better at that. A little fun note that y'all might be interested in, and not that it matters, because it's voluntary, OTAs, but Stephon Diggs has not showed up for OTAs in Houston yet.
Oh, shit.
I'm just saying.
Amicus,
he must be unhappy with his contract.
Amicus, so what did you say that Keon Coleman excels at? There was something I kind of missed it there. What were you
said
saying?
late hands. His late hands. It means you don't try to reach up for the ball too early. It's you wait until the
very last second.
4 or 5 yards from you and it's coming in hot, then you put your fucking hands up, catch the ball. Because if you're there and a defender, a cornerback or a safety sees your shoulders drop, once they see your shoulders drop while you're running, because when you're running, your shoulders are up because you're pumping your arms. You're creating that momentum. But when you go, and you could do it yourself right now, once you start trying to lift your hands above your heads, your shoulder blades drop.
And that's how they
cornerbacks can see that.
They see that as an indicator, and they just
it's an indicator that the ball is coming
because their back is turned to the ball. They can't see, so they got to read
they don't see the ball coming, but they can see your change in the elevation of your shoulder blades or your shoulder level, and pad level in general. They can go, oh, the ball must be coming this same way. And this was an interview that I did a long, long time ago when I was still in high school as a sports editor. I talked to a local Dolphins player, retired Dolphins player. Now, I'm not going to lie. I don't remember his name because he fucking wasn't a great one. But he was talking.
Or a shitty editor. One of the two.
Yeah, well, probably that. I mean, we were co-editors, by the way. So we had like 60 people in our newspaper program. But anyway, he talked about two things. He said the shoulder elevation is a tell. And as a receiver is running and you see their pupils start to dilate, meaning getting wider, opening more. Why? Physiologically, you know that when your pupils dilate, it's because you're trying to focus on something. So cornerbacks would be able to recognize through the change of shoulder elevation as well as pupil dilation, the ball. I'm not looking at the ball. My back's to the fucking quarterback, but they're looking at the receiver. They can say, okay, the ball must be coming. And at that point, if you put your hands up too early, they'll stick their hands in between the receiver's hands to try to adjust or interrupt the catching process. But if you are what's called a late hands receiver, it means that you don't get overzealous or over anxious to try to put up your hands and prepare for the incoming of the ball. You're very efficient at, okay, the ball isn't 10 yards from me. Let me start preparing to catch it versus, oh, it's 4 or 5 yards. It's coming in. shoot your hands up, make the catch, pull the ball in, and the defender doesn't have the opportunity to try to shove his hands in there and disrupt your ability to catch the ball.
And see, y'all have OBJ now, right? And he's always on drugs, so his pupils are always dilating. So that's a good way to throw the cornerback off.
Good episode, boys. Good episode. Really, one of your best.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. But yeah, man, I really do. You know, there are things like that, and he even talked to me about wide receivers and why receivers have tails on cornerbacks. Two of the multiple is when a cornerback likes to backstep. Once they know that you're going to have an inside or an outside release on a pattern, if you stick your foot in the ground, which is why most receivers, they do a stutter step at the top of their route tree. Why? Because most of the time, if a guy, no matter, you know, whether you're strong side, weak side, obviously, you know, whatever, they have a favorite foot to pivot off of.
Mm-hmm.
And if you run your first 4 or 5 routes, okay, I recognize what leg he likes to pivot off of. They'll give you an outside move that forces you to pivot with that favored leg and then go the opposite way, because then you have to swing your hips and regain momentum.
I was about to say they probably look at the hips too. Like I would imagine the hips are a tell.
To a degree, though, because if you're backpedaling, your hips aren't in or out. It's once you make a declaration and they try to plant a pivot foot in the ground, just like a wide receiver does, a cornerback is always going to do that same thing. Now, if you see they favor one leg over the other in pivoting,
right,
I'll give you a fake the way that you prefer to pivot, and you go, oh, this is going to be easy. I got them. They pivot, and then you go the opposite way. Then they have to stop momentum, swing their hips, and then try to engage in more momentum.
See, if I was a wide receiver, bro, I would study that shit all day long, because I would train myself to move my hips to the right, but my legs are still going left. Fuck them all up.
I mean, you could try to do that, but the only problem with that is physiologically speaking, if you want to fake the hips, you're going to have to use your shoulders to counterbalance. So if they get beat enough on you faking with the hips, then they're going to go, okay, well, physics tells me they have to counterbalance with weight somewhere. The hips may be lying to me, but the shoulders aren't.
The hips
Does
don't
that
lie.
make sense?
Yeah.
And so that's the game that they play,
the hips don't lie.
And sometimes they can, but something else is going to be the tell now. And it's the cat and mouse game, because there are wide receivers that they will use their hips. They'll drop their right hip to make you think that they're going on an out-breaking route, but their shoulders are the opposite way, and they give you the fake and they go inside, because they know if you're looking at my hips, I'm a fucking give you a fake, use my shoulders to counterbalance. I fucking pick my feet up off the ground, swing my hips, instantaneously. But because I put the shoulders out inside to counterbalance, it does not take as much time to regain momentum than it will for a cornerback that does not know what you're doing. It's an advantage. It's little tips and tricks and, veteran savvy and all this shit. So, anyway, hey, we've been on here 2.5 hours. Let's kind of wrap it up, man. Spidey, give us your final thoughts, brother. He's on mute, so Amicus, give us your final thoughts, brother.
Great show as always. Excited for the season. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a tough schedule. I'm going to tell you, man, I was re-looking at that schedule, the Dolphins and the Jets. Bro, have you seen the Jets schedule? That is a fucking cupcake schedule. I mean, if they are if Aaron Rodgers is just half, maybe even a quarter of what he was 2 years ago, man, they're going to be fucking hard to beat as far as winning the division. But, yeah, man, I'm excited.
Speaking of that real quick, before we get to Green Rat and then possibly back to Spidey if he ever unmutes, but did you see Aaron Rodgers' press conference or hear about it?
No.
When he talked about he loves being on the hot seat?
Yeah. I heard that clip today. I didn't hear the clip, but
Yeah, he said essentially that Robert Saleh, I don't remember their GM now, but Robert Saleh, their GM, and him essentially know that they're on the hot seat. That if they don't win, all three of them are gone. And he said, I like it that way.
Hey, did you
I
see
don't know if I
Jets
like that comment, Amicus. I don't know if I like that comment.
ACT, did you see that Jets fans started recording OTA stats for Aaron Rodgers? Like
Say that again?
stats. Did you see that Jets fans or Jet reporters, they were reporting Aaron Rodgers' like OTA stats, like game day stats?
No, I did not.
Yeah, like on red zone drills, he had 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions out of these tries. I'm like, oh my god, it's getting pathetic. Fucking Jets fans.
Well, the question is, who's he going up against? Just like we talked about before, it's red zone drills, but is it 7-on-7? Is it 1-on-1s? Like, where's the context to that?
Number one, right? And number two, you're right. And they're like, oh yeah, Aaron Rodgers is going to be fine. He just suffered an Achilles tear on his non-plant foot, so he's going to be okay. He's not, people are over, they're kind of exaggerating the injury, the impact of his injury, because they were comparing other Achilles tears to other quarterbacks. That suffered Achilles tear, like Dan Marino and shit.
Yeah, but long story short, the Dan Marino thing, there's like the advancement in medicine and all that is one thing, but then you got to put on top of that, irregardless, like I was saying to Amicus, the mindset for him of saying, I like it like this, the fact that he referenced that he knew he was on the hot seat with Jordan Love, and he said, I like it. He said, I like it. And whether or not he's physically going to be the same, that motherfucker's still mentally the same. And that's some scary shit. When he knows
with an easy schedule.
Yeah, and when he knows, and he essentially said, they paid me a shit ton of money to come here. I got to perform or we're all out the door.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's fucking scary.
Yeah.
But give us overall your final thoughts, Spidey.
It's the fucking Jets.
Yeah, you said fucking Jets. That's it? That's your final thoughts?
No, I was just gonna say, man, good episode, bro. Good talk. I've had, we never have anything to not talk about. We always got something to talk about, so it's always interesting. I like the balanced perspectives of, from Dolphin side and the Bill side. At least today. Usually it's biased, but but I like the objective takes today. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, bro. Can't wait for OTAs. Minicamp.
All right, appreciate it. Green Rat, final thoughts, brother.
Oh, I believe I'm going to go outside and put out some road flares and stuff so Spidey knows where to land his plane.
I'm swinging, baby. I'm swinging for the next. I'm swinging to the next crime scene, baby.
Right. Good show, guys. Thanks for coming in. Even you, Amicus. Glad to have you on the show tonight.
Thanks.
I don't got anything else to say.
All right. Well, hey, I love you boys. As always, you guys are the man. Appreciate you guys coming out, being on the show. As always bringing some good shit. Especially Amicus. Like Spidey said, he was a little bit less biased tonight, which added to the fuel to the fire there. But again, 170 you guys in the room. I appreciate every one of you guys watching. For those of you guys, Twitch, Twitter, and all that, come on over to YouTube. Smash that like button. Hit the subscribe if you haven't. Hit that notification bell. We're here every Monday at 8:30. We do impromptu shows throughout the week. This week was a little bit lighter than others. But normally we've done 36 shows over the last 47 days. So we're pumping out the content for you guys, and we're always going to do that. I will say this. I will be on vacation this weekend. I won't be back till Monday, but I'm sure that we will do a Monday show. Possibly, Bleezy and whoever else, they might come on and do a show throughout the weekend. But we will see you guys on the next one. As always, we appreciate you guys watching. You guys got to get more involved in the chat. Come on. Shoot your shots in the chat. We're not going to bite your head off. I mean, Green Rat might, but the rest of us won't. Unless it's a stupid take, and then we'll call you out. But give us your thoughts, man. Give us some topics you guys want to hear us talk about, or bring your ass up on the panel and come up and talk yourself. We appreciate it. As always, we're going to leave you with our favorite clip, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Jalen Waddell. Everybody knew they would yell from the box like Jalen Waddell.